So we're going to move into another core conversation with Dave Tragethon, who is the Executive Director of Sales and Communications and IT for Meadows Ski Resort, Oregon's most popular winter recreation destination. And to introduce him better and talk to him, let's bring back Paul Williams from ISITE.
How many people here like to go skiing? Meadows? All right. So for me, I grew up a deprived child. My father was a wonderful, wonderful man. But he hated going up to the ski resort. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. Lake Tahoe was the closest destination for us. He had every excuse in the book. It was too cold. It was too dangerous to drive. There was nothing to do once you got there if you didn't ski. It was too expensive. The lines were too long. It was miserable overall. So what makes a kid want to do something more than anything is when your parents tell you you can't. So 20 years later, I moved to Portland, Oregon, and I should say 20 years ago I moved up to Portland and became familiar with the ski slopes with my clumsy snowboard and my boots on the wrong feet to start, gliding down the hills or tumbling down the hills of Mount Hood Meadows and Timberline and Ski Bowl, and just fell in love with the idea of snowboarding. But the lines were long, the parking lots were a nightmare to navigate. It was not the best experience. So Dave Tragethon, who's been a client of ours since 2008 and uses Sitecore to power their digital experience, arrived about 18 years ago. And he is a mentor and a real partner for us at ISITE. His brain works equally between marketing and customer experience and technology. He's able to pick up new concepts like mobile or the back end of a content management system overnight. And at the same time, translate that technology to the cultural change necessary for the organization to adopt it, as well as the marketing concepts to make the customer experience truly amazing. When you think about him having sales, marketing, and IT, that's a hat most people don't get to wear. And so he has over those 18 years created one of the most amazing experiences as I've now had a chance to ski in many places throughout the country. Where else do you find a concierge waiting for you in a ski resort, not just the hotel? Where do you find a place where you don't have to buy a water bottle? Everything's set up so easy to bring your own water bottle and fill it with wonderful water fresh from the mountain. And he's brought and pioneered a lot of the green tactics to the guest experience. So I'm really excited to welcome Dave Tragethon to tell his story about how he's helped make Mount Hood Meadows, in my opinion, the absolute best ski destination in the country.
It's so great to work with a vendor who understands our business and the passion that goes behind it. And we see that not only on the slopes, because a lot of the ISITE folks do come up and enjoy Mount Hood Meadows. How many people here have been up to Mount Hood Meadows before? This is good. What's this thing about communication, sales, and IT? Why is that in my title? About 5 years ago, we made a decision that I used to be marketing and sales director, but I was kind of the last person involved in marketing, because to us, marketing was the process of bringing together the service or the product with the guest or the customer. And that's happening at our lifts, in our parking lot, at all of our retail operations. And here I am in Portland. So why am I in charge of marketing? So we rethought that. Everybody's in charge of marketing in Mount Hood
Meadows to try to get people to come back. Because why spend all the money to get them to come once and then get you underway? And what we changed our office into here in Portland was right-sizing the expectations of people. So when they did come to Mount Hood Meadows, they knew what they were going to get, and they could enjoy that. Because we did a good job of communicating the expectation. That's kind of what my presentation is about. We're using a lot of technology, but it's nothing without humanity. Anybody use the men's restroom here? All men? Just so you know, anybody know what a urinal is? There's a sign on the urinal, and it says, when through, push handle down. It's probably important because our technology has gotten to the point where you rarely have to do that anymore. And here they said, boy, we better tell people how this thing works. all this technology, it needs the humanity in order to make it work. So, like I said, title here is IT. I gotta tell you, who came up with this statement? This technology will revolutionize our business through a high-tech, high-touch approach to relationships. Who, when, and what technology is it? Just name a visionary. Edison. Name another visionary.
Bell.
Steve? Yeah. No, it was me. Year was 1987. What was the technology? Anybody know? So there's a fax machine. Has anybody here heard anybody ever say, how did we ever do business without a fax machine? Have you ever said that? A lot of people, I did. It's like, wow, this is great. You know why? Because at that time, when I was at Monarch Ski Resort in Colorado, we didn't have a direct relationship with our guests. The skiers wanted to come to the mountain. We had no way to talk to them. We'd get our conditions out to the radio stations, to the newspapers, to the TV stations, to the bureaus, anything we could do to put that out once a day. Here's what you can expect if you come up to Monarch today. We couldn't dialogue back and forth with our guests, but this was going to make it real easy for us. And by the way, you know when the patent for the fax machine was? So this is 1987, maybe in the 70s, in the 60s? It was in the 60s. The 1860s. That was the original fax machine. The patent was filed 1864. 3 years before the phone. Why did it take 100 years for it to catch on? Why weren't we just faxing like crazy at the turn of the century? Because we had the phone, and we want to talk to each other. We don't want to fax something back and forth. Technology is nothing without humanity. Let's take you up to when I first got to Mount Hood Meadows. Tachocom. 100,000 snow phone calls a month coming into our snow phone. 227 snow. It's the same phone numbers today. 15 simultaneous lines coming into this thing, which is great because as opposed to a recorded message that you may pick up halfway through, like at a national park or the weather stations, when you called, you got, hi, this is Mount Hood Meadows. Here's your snow report. Here's what's happening right now, which was nice. 15 times. Now the 16th person got a busy signal. That didn't happen too much, but on December 12, 1995, it happened. Anybody remember what happened on that day? Fax machine? No, it was this. No, technology is nothing without humanity. Let me see if it will just start. Start. No, laser pointed. No. Maybe. Yeah, click on it. Thank you. Humanity.
Weather is extremely unpredictable, but Jim Bosley's been following this latest storm. Let's switch to him now by the weather board, Jim.
This is a major... That's okay. It was the big storm. It was the biggest storm since 1962. You remember it? Cars being going off the road, boats were overturning, capsizing, all this weather going on in Portland. It was the BP, the roof fell off, blew off the BP, trees falling over. Guess what happened at our snow phone? People were calling. You know what they wanted to know? How much snow are you getting? We had 20 inches of snow up on the mountain. That's what they wanted to know. Their house could have been gone. They wanted to know how much snow, whether it was... But the Tachocom was an electronic device and it plugged into the wall. And what happened to the power that day in downtown Portland? Gone. But telephones run off their own power system. And the phones kept ringing, and we couldn't get this great information out to them. We had 20 inches of snow. So we thought, we'll just plug in one of our phones, and we started answering. Hi, Mount Hood Meadows. Yeah, we got a lot of snow. Oh, it's wonderful up there. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, and now the next phone's ringing next phone. There were three of us trying to handle this. We thought the best thing to do, we'll write a script, and we'll pretend like we're the answering machine. Because we can say what we need to really quick and then hang up and get to the next one, right? So it's great. Phone rings. You've reached Mount Hood Meadows snow phone. We have 20 inches of fresh powder at Mount Hood Meadows, and it's still coming down. And you hear the person go, wow, that's awesome. We go, yes, it is awesome. You should tell all your friends and come up tomorrow. Yeah, I know Billy. We can drive. Yes, take Billy's car, make sure he brings his chains. Is this a snow phone? Thank you for calling Mount Hood Meadows. And then we had the first really interactive snow phone ever in the history of technology is nothing without humanity. So let's go up to 2003. Anybody here look at a 4x4? 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 Yay, forget it. Okay, so how many season passes did we have before 2003? Let me ask this. Who could afford to put 900 people onto your sales force right now? Anybody here afford that? We had 900 season pass holders. The cost of a season pass was $1,100 each. We didn't want to monkey with it because that was $1 million worth of advance revenues that we're getting to lead into the season. So it's like, should we do something with it? 2003, we decided to do it because we had the technology to do it. We created the 4x4. 4 people buy their pass together at $400 each. We created it on our website. We linked the website to our sales platform. One organizer would put their name, email address in there, and then invite 3 others. The system would invite the other 3 others. They would put their information in. When everybody had purchased, the order would go through. They'd be notified by our email that you are ready to pick up your pass. Anybody have a guess how many we sold that year? 5,000. Technology was crucial in being able to do that, but took the human power of peer pressure to get everybody excited. That was 2003. Now we go to 2008 rebranding effort. We thank our partners here at ISITE for bringing us up to date to that. So on the front of the page, completely new look for our website. We had websites since the first year that Flash was out. We had 1999 going to 2000 in an animated way for celebrating New Year's. That's how far back we went with Flash. But we didn't put any Flash on this because you couldn't see it on an iPhone. And the very first view I got of our website when we designed it was on an iPhone. This was 2008. Season passes on sale now, by the way. Everybody, skihood.com. Here's my sales pitch. But in addition to what we're doing on the front of the page is all of this stuff behind it. We're focusing on e-commerce, on our snow reporting, our operational status, all the photo, video, gallery stuff, events, blog. Social networks were important to us at that time, more as a way to get content necessarily or provide content like YouTube and Flickr. That's how people were submitting content for us to show their stuff on our site. But most significantly, we consolidated 5 independent databases that didn't even talk to each other, and we didn't have a good picture of our customer or even a way to communicate to them. Separate, but very important part of that rebranding effort. Now let me go to 2008. We started connecting through the website, and then connecting through emails. We have an online point-of-sale purchase. We capture that information. They get an email confirmation. They arrive at our lifts. We're going to find out about this in our presentation here. And we recognize when they're at the mountain. We send them an email survey, a thank you. That's how we get our NPS scores. Then we invite them to subscribe to the e-news. And then we send them some special offers. And then they start the process all over again. This is our relationship with our guests, which is a great relationship. But unfortunately, it's somewhat of a closed circle there. And if you start losing people out of it, they get old, they move away. That eventually is going to wind itself down to the point where we'll have no more guests. So what we really need to go, and probably what we're going to be talking about here shortly, is we need to socialize this. We can have all the great relationships one-on-one with our guests that we want. What we want them to do is we want them to tell their friends how great we are. Not us, who's going to believe me. By the way, we're really great. So these are a couple of posts that we put up there yesterday, or Tuesday. We got snow up on Mount Hood. This is our Facebook page. Top of Vistacam. This is a picture of a bunch of rocks with a trace of snow over the top of it, right? Can't read it here, but we had 1,310 likes in 10 minutes. We had, 69 comments. People go, woohoo, this is coming up. We had 306 or 106 shares. People just sharing that with other people, which is great. And the picture next to it was our camera at the top of Cascade, which had snow in front of it. It could have been me just holding my hand in front of it and taking a picture, but that also was very, very well received. By the way, you know what? We put pictures on our Facebook page. Other people put pictures on our Facebook page, and its beauty, and its nature, and its trees, and its mountain, and its people skiing and having fun. You know what the most popular picture ever taken and posted on our Facebook page was? Pile of snow on a picnic table. 20 inches of snow. 10,624 people saw that post in a matter of about 10 minutes. 320 people shared it. 1,051 likes. And we weren't even open for the season yet. The point being, can you imagine if we were still back in the days of the Techicom when we could handle 15 lines coming in with a 2-minute report? So in 30 minutes, we maybe be able to handle 30 people. Compared to where we are right now, where instantaneously we can communicate with 10,000 people. So we're moving on to the future here. You can play that. I don't think I can. But it's a video that actually, let's see if the video goes. The video goes great, and if not, we'll just start talking about it. Hold on. Nope. So technology is nothing without humanity. Thank you.
Don't worry, we're not done yet. Test, can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. So Dave, one of the things that came to mind when I thought about Mount Hood Meadows is the 28,000 fans you built on Facebook, which for a ski resort is pretty impressive. It gives you a lot of great insights, and you're very active on Facebook and Twitter. As you're evolving the customer experience, take us inside of your planning sessions and the way that you use social media to help identify the opportunities to deliver more delight each year.
You know, we may have been an early adopter of Facebook because our social media specialist at that time had just come from college and was using Facebook when it was a college-only platform. And she said, this is something that we should be using. And it's all organic growth. We did not ever buy anything to get anybody to join our site, and we never even held a contest that required you to like our site to win. And we feel that's very important because those people want to be there. They share the same passion that we have. And we, like I said, are using Facebook and Twitter almost more as expectation setters. I was talking to someone earlier. We almost use these social media communications to tell people when not to come as much as we tell them when to come. But again, it's to try to set the expectation like we expect that our parking lots are going to be full. So please leave late, or you have to come early in order to find a parking space. You know. But the other part about the context of social media, Meadows has had a long-standing relationship with blogs. We were an early adopter of blog going back to 2003, somewhere in there. So we've always had a dialogue with our guests, and a lot of times it's very public. Facebook is absolutely public. We moderate it, but we do not prevent anybody from posting anything live. You know, we may have to remove a post every now and then, but that's basically what people are talking about. And our managers and directors are tuned in too, particularly our food services department. They take very, very dearly what people are talking about socially. So.
Thank you, Dave. I'd love to hear a little bit more about the process for improving that guest experience. The RFID gates are the latest technological advances here, and something that will allow you to create new products, new experiences, new social connections. The culture of getting your team ready for it, the understanding of where it fits into the context of the guest experience. Give us a view into that.
It's been 15 years that we've been studying putting these gates in place. Other systems in North America, other resorts, we opted to go with a European company. They've been using there for 2 decades, and we feel very comfortable about the technology. The gate itself is like a really large scanner or credit card machine. My IT director hates when I refer to these things that cost $35,000 a piece as a really big credit card machine, but in effect that's what they do. Our hope is that within 2 years you won't even notice the gates. You wear your RFID pass in your jacket, you slide up to the gate, it recognizes you, it logs that you're there, it verifies your access, it drops the bar, and you sneak through and get on the lift. And we still have the human experience queuing people up as well as putting people on the lift. Right? This work? All right. So technology is nothing without humanity. So with the gates, we want it to be a very seamless and transparent process. And the gates will help us. It will help us develop skier patterns. Right now, we scan at our lower lifts. Our upper lifts, we don't scan. There are certain times, like if someone is reported missing, that to have that essential where was the last lift taken, what was the last ride, is very helpful in any efforts that we may have to mount in order to go out and do search and rescue or find that person. So it helps with alerting other skiers, families that are skiing together. If there's an emergency situation, somebody gets hurt, they're in the clinic, we can put an alert out for that person as well, or a group organizer or a group leader. But ultimately, these gates are going to be something that the data is also going to be very transparent to each of the users. They'll be able to log into our website, pull up their use. They'll be able to go back to every single day, see every single lift that they rode, and even map it out in a visual graph of their day at Mt. Meadows, ultimately their season at Mt. Meadows. And since these are sustainable, the RFID pass that you received this year, you'll be able to use at Mt. Meadows as long as we have RFID gates. We're talking about lifetime value and lifetime relationship with our guests. So that's the direction that we're going with.
Thank you. The next question, going back to my father who hated going up to ski resorts. Mt. Meadows has done a phenomenal job overhauling the experience. I have a 4-year-old son, and it's a pleasure to bring him up to the ski school in his first year. He believed with a smile on his face. It was easy. It was simple to get through the rental experience. How did you do that? How did you start with something that was so complicated and turn it into a delightful experience?
There's a couple of things there, and thank you for calling the rental shop experience delightful, which is great. We've made the commitment to the space that's necessary first and foremost, but also last year we extended our RTP, which is our ski area operational system, and purchased the resort rental module. It's an inventory system, inventory control system, as well as a payment system, and it allowed people to go online in advance, make their reservation, and fill out their paperwork, and bring that paperwork in. And in essence, they are now presenting a voucher at the point of sale, and the paperwork and the processing has largely been done. I say largely because with the ski resort, getting releases and those different types of things are critically important and time-consuming, but if we can get most of that done in advance through the email packet that someone gets with their confirmation, as well as some additional expectation setting, when to arrive, where to go, that works really well. With our consecutive week programs, a program that we call Snow Blasters, we've really systematically broken that system down so mom and dad can take care of it and do it quietly in their own time at midnight or at the end of the day, whenever they have time to get this done. And that too has systematically provided all of the paperwork they need to have in advance. So the arrival day is much more of a will call experience. Everything is already in place. If they rented equipment, then we have to go to the rental shop. We have the rental equipment for that child already in our Snow Blaster room, set and spec'd for them to step into, adjust, and go out into their lesson. So it is, in the past, we could have 300 kids arrive in our Snow Blasters in one day. Try to take that many kids, get them ready to go out in the snow and make a 10 o'clock lesson. So and part of it is we're forced to do it. We have to do this, otherwise we'd have kids in the rental shop till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
tell me a little bit about the Kennedy School planning sessions that you do. And each year, Mt. Meadows gathers together and they think strategically about how the guest experience will evolve, and great ideas like the elimination of water bottles, for example, come out of that. Talk to me a little bit about the culture of innovation and change at Mt. Meadows and how you've helped nurture your team along this continuous improvement of experience.
Sure. Part of this is a result of one of our very strong leaders who was at Meadows for as long as I was there, went to Telluride, and to a certain extent, that was a leadership void and an opportunity. So we invited our entire director staff and created an executive team to lead the leadership. The very first year that we had the opportunity to do that, we invited ISITE to come in, and we involved our directors in helping to choose kind of the persona, the theme, what did we want our website to look like. And you kind of gave us 3 brands of hot sauce, mild, medium, and wild. And our directors didn't like the mild and the wild, but the medium seemed to fit. And then that started a branding session of what do we want Mt. Hood Meadows to be known for? And after we talked about fun and exciting and, you know, outdoors and nature and recreation and all this, it came down to consistency. Our operational team felt that the most important thing that we could provide to our guests was consistency. So that when we said we were going to open the lift at this time, we'd open the lift at that time. That started an 8:55 initiative that first year to get every lift open at 8:55, 5 minutes before 9 o'clock advertised time. And it also started our full-time MCOM department, people that were hired to do nothing but keep the website updated from a condition standpoint, from an operational standpoint, from a parking lot status standpoint, and send out these updates as things changed to the minute, sometimes several times in a half hour as snow conditions change. Compare that to the old days when we used to record once on the snow phone for the day, and that was your snow report for the entire day. So this consistency message built on we need to communicate the expectation better. We use technology to do it because one person can't tell potentially 10,000 people coming up that day, and use the technology to help support that.
I'd like to thank you, Dave. I'd like to see if you have any questions out in the audience for Dave. Back here.
Okay.
So I was wondering, you said that you took your marketing department and made it an essential function of everyone's job. Was that hard culturally? I know in some companies it can be very difficult to accept that everyone needs to be part of that.
Yeah. No, because about 2004, 2005, we started a hospitality training program that became frontline level, and it was to prepare all of our employees to be able to be prepared for delivering the expectation, the service, the experience expectations that our guests had. And it was really only recognizing what was already happening. You know, our reputation was based on the last contact that someone had with one of our employees. The skiing could be great, and hopefully that's what everybody's talking about, the water cooler. You know, it's the terrain, being out there, having fun. That's what makes Mt. Hood Meadows what it is. Let's just get out of the way of that. In fact, let's facilitate that. Let's share the stoke, you know, our core values, which then turned into the next year's director session. Passion was number one on the list. Passion for what it is that we do, and passion for sharing it with each other and with our guests. Integrity. We want people to not even have to think about this, everything that's involved in getting a lift to operate. You know, wellness. That's a big part of what we do up there, and we've always had a service value, and then sustainability. You know, talking about waterless urinals. You don't even have to push a handle on ours, and they're waterless. They saved 268,000 gallons of water, you know, this last season. So we are. It goes back to David's presentation this morning. You know, these are core values for us that we believe we share with our guests. And that makes it a lot easier, you know, to communicate that to our staff and on to our guests.
Another question? Okay. Dave, talk to me a little bit about the concierge desk's mission and the way that you pivoted from skier services to concierge, and how perhaps technology has helped empower the concierge to do a great guest experience.
In the past, concierge used to be basically the complaint department first and foremost, and it still is. You know, when people have a problem or an issue, that's where you can go to. But we turned that around a while ago, and we didn't look at people who were coming here that they had this issue or this problem or something had gone wrong. We looked at it as an opportunity that we can make something right. And so it's also a point of sale. It's also where a lot of activity happens. It's also lost and found. But we took that philosophy and extended it beyond the concierge. So right now, if you're on the lift, and the lift does stop, and it stops for 15 minutes or more, we have service packs so that we're actually issuing either hot beverage chips, vouchers, sometimes even tickets to people at the very top of that lift. You know, saying, sorry, this is unanticipated, this is not the expectation, you know, we're sorry that this happened. Explain to people why it happened. And then when they leave, they're not thinking about the 15 minutes that they sat on that lift. It's a lot easier for them to get behind it, you know, and get over it. So that concierge thought of what goes on to concierge is really pushed out to all aspects of our operation.
Other questions? Okay. Next thing I'd love to hear about is business intelligence. Big data is one of the book collections I believe we have in the Nerd Pack. And I'd love to hear from your perspective, how have you used data to help enhance the customer experience and evolve the business over time?
Yeah, the one thing that we're doing with the new gates that we have new products. And so to a certain extent we have segmented our guests who are coming to Mountain Meadows by the different type of products that we offer them. We've always had our season passes, the 4x4 I mentioned, unlimited season passes, people who can come up or planning coming up maybe 10, 15, 20 times or more. But now we have a pass called the Meadows Club Card. It's $99. You come up your first time, it's free. You get discounts on peak and off peak, and then every fifth time is free. So you could literally come up just 3 times and pay for that pass, find value in it, and we're trying to get you to come up a 4th time, a 5th time. The business intelligence that we get from this is amazing because we have an exchange upon every use. When a season pass holder comes up and they're recognized at the lift, we will send to them an email, thank you, and a quality survey. No more than once every 6 weeks. So if you come up 5 times a week, you're not going to get surveyed 5 times. And we use that information and we compile it on a department by department level, and then we incorporate that into our reviews. Our executive directors talk to directors about and actually use their NPS rating as a way to evaluate how successful they were each season. So it's coming right from the guest, unabashed. You know, they receive it within a day or 2 of their visit. This next year will be the day after the visit by email, at a time when they still can recall their experience and give us what we feel is a very, very realistic and critical evaluation of our operation. So, and we do use it. We use it to make improvements. The number one reason why we are going with our RFID gates is because our number one customer complaint at Mountain Meadows is having to show my pass every time I get on a lift. And we're going to solve that this year. You wear your coat. It's a wireless technology. You never have to show it. And we're looking forward to the day when there will be some other number one complaint at Mountain Meadows other than having to show my pass every single time I get on the lift.
Thank you, Dave. Any other questions? Right here.
Which internal infrastructure for?
Your internal infrastructure with your team and your staff. What does that look like? How many people or how do you lay it out?
Well, we will hire upwards of 1,000 people total to run our resort operation all season long. We have an executive director team of 5 individuals who report to basically the general manager and majority shareholder of the company, Matthew Drake. And then we have a team of about another 10 directors, and our management staff is close to 40 to 50 individuals from the manager level and above. Each department's a little bit different. You know, food services has a large department, lift operations has a large department. Our marketing, our sales and communications department has about 12 people in it during the height of the season. And the biggest growth of a department at Mountain Meadows over the last 3 years has been IT. When we first met with ISITE back in 2008, we had one year-round IT manager, and he had a part-time person that came in during the ski season. We now have promoted him to Director of IT, Paul Thompson, and he is the brains behind making all this work, making all the data connect with everything else that we need to have. He has a sound business mind. He knows how to present this information so our managers can use it to manage the data behind it. But he has a systems manager, Abe, and then we have an RTP administrator and a hardware coordinator, basically. And they are all 4 full-time year-round positions. So, you know, where has the growth been in our company? It's been in IT. And how does that relate to what we're doing in our sales and communications? Directly related. We use IT to communicate with our guests, communicate the expectations, you know, and then our people fulfill those expectations. That leads to sales and long-term commitments.
One of the visionary things that Dave did in 2008 to extend the amount of influence he had on the digital experience As he came to us with an Android phone, he said, I want to make sure it works on this. I said, no problem. Web templates will show up just fine on the Android phone. No, that's not good enough. What I need is the interface to the website for updating it to actually work on the Android phone. And this was pretty new for Sitecore in 2008. And so we worked with them. And the reason was the people who had contact with the customers needed to be able to communicate transparently and update the website as soon as they had information. So if somebody's driving from Portland up to government camp, and the website says the weather's good or the snow conditions are great, and all of a sudden fog came in, they're going to be upset. And so Dave really wanted to be able to get the connection from the people who are closest to the experience on the mountain live to the website. And I thought that was a really great use of mobile technology in early time. We have time for one more question. And I've got a closing one if nobody else does. Step right into mobile. So Dave, I don't have personally, unfortunately, yet, but maybe I can tweet it, and Ruby will give me the goggles with the Bill's hopefully still here, with the goggles with the heads-up display. I mean, there's some amazing things that are happening with the helmet cams and everything. Where do you see mobile going for Mount Hood Meadows, and what are some of the things on your roadmap?
We do believe that the mobile applications are going to be the way of the future as people become less. As they have less access to their laptops and to their desks, they're not going to be tied to them anymore. But at Mount Hood Meadows itself, a phone isn't a real convenient thing. It's packed in. You got gloves on. It's not like, well, where am I going to go next? It's the batteries. They don't do too well in cold weather. You don't want to have your entire day run out of battery at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then what? So I see that's really going to be more of an opportunity and more meaningful for people when they're away from the resort than when they're at the resort, and that is preparing. I've already talked about it. What are the parking lots like? What are the conditions? We update the conditions at first before 5 a.m. We do another update by 7:30. We do another one at 9 a.m. Where in the old days we should just do it once in the morning, so people are constantly getting this information. It's also great for sharing, and where we want to go with mobile is how can you enjoy your day, document it, and share it with others. We want that phone to be the Monday morning water cooler of the past. What'd you do this weekend? Instead of me at the water cooler, it's like, this is what I did this week, and in fact, this is what I'm doing now. And so it's more of using that technology for people to get the information they want and then share it with others. It really is an all about you experience, not about us.
Thank you very much, Dave. Great conversation.